back to Wholesaling Around the World, the Massachusetts edition. And before we get into my feelings about the state of Massachusetts for virtually wholesaling, I have to let you guys know I have been a New England Patriots fan going all the way back to 1990 when I was 6 years old, got a pack of cards, saw the old Pat the Patriot logo on the helmet. And I asked my dad, why are we Dallas Cowboys fans? And he said, well, son, it's because where we live. But realistically, you can be a fan of whoever you want. And boy, he had no idea the mistake he made, because I have been a Patriots fan ever since that day. And oh, buddy, we are so back. We are so back. Drake May, the next Tom Brady. Mike Vrabel, the next Bill Belichick. We're going to run the table. We run the AFC East again. We're winning the Super Bowl this year. I'm so excited to be a Patriots fan. Oh, the dynasty is back. I'm speaking it into existence. That being said, as much as I love the New England Patriots, I don't really love Massachusetts that much for virtually wholesaling. It's okay. I mean, it would probably be in the high 20s, low 30s for me. It's never going to be a high volume state. Obviously, it's got the large city, Boston. But Boston, to me, is kind of like New York City, Los Angeles. It just doesn't feel great for virtual wholesaling. I don't get a ton of leads there. When we do, normally they kind of know what they have. They know the opportunity that they can go list it on the MLS. And so we're not ever really getting a ton of motivation. And we're definitely not talking to people that need to sell their house for an extreme discount. And so we've never really done a ton of volume in Boston. Now, the deals that we have done in Massachusetts have been kind of on the outskirts of Boston. And then we've even gone all the way over to what I've now learned about the state of Massachusetts, which is the country, the west side of the state. Now, we've done deals as far as northwest, I guess, as North Adams, Massachusetts. I found out that's crazy to do a deal there. We've done deals in Springfield. And like I said, we've done deals down around Boston, going down south, down by Gillette Stadium and Foxborough and those areas. But again, just not a ton of volume. And as a virtual wholesaler, when I get these inbound PPL leads and I see the amount and the volume that we get in places like Michigan and Ohio and Missouri and the Alabamas and the Georgias and Floridas and Texas, Massachusetts is just not there. However, it is ranked 16th in population with just north of 7 million people. So you would feel like we would get a little bit more, but I think it's just so saturated in that Boston metro area. And because of that, we're not really getting a lot of deal flow. Now, that being said, Massachusetts is one of those states that if you get a property under contract, dispositions, as long as you're on the eastern side of the state or near Springfield, is relatively easy. If you go to the western side of the state or northwest, like I did that deal up in North Adams, we've had a couple of others in the area where it's pretty difficult to do dispositions out there. Not a ton of buyer activity, and you're not really pulling from any other major populated areas in other states. And so because of that, Dispo has got a 50-50, where you're probably going to get the majority of your leads near Boston is going to be relatively easy. The western and northern part of the state's going to be a little bit harder. Acquisitions, in my opinion, probably one of the more difficult states. Like I said, lack of lead flow, but also lack of motivation. And that's just my personal feelings. Now, those of you that are local to Massachusetts or are wholesaling strictly in Massachusetts, maybe you will disagree with me. And that's fine. This is just my opinion from the virtual side of things. Now, in regards to wholesale regulations, Massachusetts is just run of the mill. There's nothing out of the ordinary. Don't broker, don't try to sell the property you're assigning your equitable interest. All of the normal things. So hasn't been bamboozled yet as far as any strict wholesale regulations or anything like that. one of the downsides to Massachusetts is it's an attorney state. And so because of that, I never really like dealing with the attorneys, but I don't put Massachusetts in the same bucket as New Jersey or New York, where it's extremely difficult to deal with those attorneys. Most of our closings have been relatively straightforward, no issues with the closing attorneys or anything like that, like we've had in other states. So overall, my feelings about Massachusetts for virtually wholesaling, it would never be a market that I would suggest someone to hop into or go heavy in the marketing unless you are local and you just want to expand the statewide, because that's what your hedgehog concept is going to be. Outside of that, I don't see any benefit to targeting Massachusetts. And this is coming from someone that really actually enjoys doing virtual wholesaling in some of the New England states, like Southern Maine. We've done pretty well there. I kind of like Connecticut. Rhode Island has been fairly decent. Massachusetts has always kind of been like a little run of the mill. And it's funny because we did not start virtually wholesaling in Massachusetts until 2020. And one of my best days during the 50-50-50 in 2020 was my day in Massachusetts. I had a great run of hot leads, got several signed contracts. But ever since then, and especially since we've gone to the PPL model, our volume in Massachusetts has really gone down. And so that's kind of tainted the way that I feel about virtually wholesaling there. So overall, yeah, I mean, if we get a lead in Massachusetts, I don't view it as bad, kind of like I would in a place like West Virginia or a New York, where I don't really enjoy those states. But it's also not something that I'm feeling like, oh, hey, this is probably going to be a highly motivated seller and going to be something that we're going to be able to lock up super easy, like I would in an Ohio or Missouri or Florida or Texas. So those are my feelings about Massachusetts. What I want to know from you guys, for those of you that are wholesaling in the state of Massachusetts, let me know. Do you agree or do you disagree with my take? Regardless, show me some love, like today's video, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.